Hi everybody! We're getting started with tonight's Wellness Journey interviews. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to talk to a couple of my good friends tonight. And I'm just going to start with Charity Keshke. Let me see if I can get her added here. Once I get her hooked up and joined in, we're just going to jump right into the interview so that everybody is paying attention to time and you guys aren't trying to watch a video for an hour. I'm going to be doing 15-minute segments tonight. The first one will be Charity, and then I'm going to talk to Megan Shane, and then I'm going to talk to Tammy Goda. And they all have their own little different views on what wellness looks like and how they got going in their journey with wellness. And so I'm really excited for you. Charity is going to come up here any second, and I'm going to start asking her a couple questions about what her journey looked like, how she got started, and there she is. Hi, Charity.
Hey.
If you guys are out there, give us some thumbs up, some hearts or whatever, just to let us know that you can hear us. And we're just going to jump right in. So, hi, Charity. It's good to see you.
Hey, Lori. Good to see you.
So, I wanted to start by asking you to introduce yourself a little tick and then tell us how you got interested in essential oils and in Young Living.
My name's Charity Keshke, and I work as a sign language interpreter. Before that, I used to be a cake decorator, interested in art and reading and writing. Those are a few of my interests. Let's see. As far as essential oils goes, um, I got introduced to essential oils, I think, for the first time as a client for massage therapy. And I found that in addition to just being like a relaxing piece of that experience, it also um, helped to support my wellness in other ways, not just for making the massage more relaxing, but for instance, my massage therapist would use like warming oils on my belly if I was having issues with digestion or something like that, and it just helped to support my body in more ways than just the sort of emotional impact of the aromatherapy. Um, and then after that, I knew that I wanted to get my hands on essential oils for myself. I wanted to have the opportunity to use them whenever I wanted them and needed them, and not only as a part of massage therapy. Um, so I kind of had my eyes, out for a good opportunity to get my hands on essential oils that I wanted to incorporate into my sort of everyday life. And that's when I ended up talking to you about Young Living essential oils. And so that's how Young Living sort of entered my everyday life. I ended up buying a starter kit. Sorry, you can see my cat. My cat Stinky just jumped up on my bookshelf behind me. He likes to knock things down from there and find a comfy place to sit. Um, yeah, so that's how I got introduced to Young Living. It was through you, Lori. And after I got my starter kit, uh, and saw the many different ways that I could use just those few essential oils, the 10 or 11. Let me grab one thing I don't want him to knock down here. Um, yeah, after having the 10 or 11 from the starter kit, and seeing how they could support my wellness, I realized that I wanted to keep adding to my collection and find more ways that I could use the essential oils to support my wellness in my everyday life.
So you kind of already saw a benefit from the oils when you were around other professionals who were using them, but then you were looking to
Mhm.
integrate them kind of more into your everyday personal life.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to have I wanted to have access to those essential oils and access to the support that they gave me um, when the needs arose. When I started recognizing that I could use those oils for specific health needs that I had, or wellness needs that I had. I wanted to have access to it whenever I had the need arise.
So what does that kind of look like? How do you incorporate them into your daily life?
So, a couple oils that I've had kind of from the beginning, from the starter kit, that I use, I mean, constantly. I would say, at least every day, usually several times a day. Um, a couple are the peppermint and lavender oils.
Mm.
Peppermint, um, I've found peppermint to be supportive for a number of different things for me. One being just alertness. When I'm going about my day and I'm kind of dragging and I feel like I need something to support my ability to concentrate and um, to be really more present, that I found that peppermint is a good support for that. And also for digestive concerns that I have had serious intestinal infection in the past called C. diff. And um, I found that peppermint oil has been really supportive for sort of the lasting after effects that I've had from having had that infection. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, knowing that I can, count on if I'm feeling a little bit nauseous when I wake up in the morning, or um, yeah, just feeling like my stomach's not quite right. I know that I have, a tool in my bag that I can use to help support um, my wellness and my everyday functioning, which is really nice. Um, Also, I think for lavender, that was the first oil that I emptied. That was the first bottle that I ran out of because I found so many different uses for it in my everyday life. Um, Many of the uses that I came across were for skin support. Um, and you can kind of look into a number of different websites or other essential oil resources to see all of the myriad ways that people have used lavender oil to support their wellness. But yeah, the one main area of wellness that I have gotten support with lavender oil is for skin care.
Yeah, I use it a lot for that too. And I remember when I first got my kit, I didn't think I would ever use up a whole bottle. So I kind of giggled when you said that you used that one up first. Yeah,
Yeah, actually, I think that I went through 2 bottles of lavender before I ever ran out of anything else.
so that's on your order every month probably, huh?
I do order lavender probably the most out of all of the oils, even though I'm always sort of looking for the next uh, oil that I haven't got the chance to try that, might support my health in a different way than what I've been able to find with other single oils or blends that I've got my hands on already. Um, but yeah, lavender continues to be a staple as does peppermint.
Yeah, it's,
I've gone through several.
I've heard people say they can compare essential oils with spices in the kitchen. You know, certain spices
Mhm.
that you use every day, kind of in the
Yeah.
day. Do you think that that's kind of true for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that yeah, probably between lavender, peppermint, and lemon, those are sort of my like salt and pepper of the essential oil world, that like they continue to prove useful time and time again for, many different things besides like body health, wellness care, like other uses around the house too, particularly for lemon, which I'm sure other people are going to talk about today.
We only have a couple minutes left, and I'm really interested in your personal story about the C. diff that you experienced. And I remember
Mhm.
back when we first met, how you were still kind of dealing with some of the after effects. And
Mhm.
I just was wondering if you would be willing to talk a little bit more about what that was like for you and how things are today.
Yeah, so it took me a while actually to get a diagnosis for C. diff because I was young and healthy and I hadn't been in the hospital and I hadn't been taking antibiotics or I hadn't been exposed to anybody that had had C. diff that I knew of at the time. So when I started having the symptoms, I didn't know what was going on. I thought maybe I got some kind of food poisoning or something like that. Um, and I was about to leave on a study abroad trip um, that the week after it happened, after it hit. And so I didn't have a lot of time to get a whole lot of support from like the staff. It was actually while I was in college, so the medical staff that they had at the college in the health center didn't have a
Uh-oh.
lot of time to work with
Yeah.
me. Oh no. Can you still hear me now?
Yeah, the medical support that you had at the college health center was the last thing I heard.
Yeah, they didn't have a whole lot of time to help me figure out what was going on because I was leaving for study abroad right after, and it stopped being sort of an acute illness after that week or so. And then I went on having the infection in my system for a good couple of years before I got a diagnosis. Um, and it would sort of increase and decline in severity um, a lot over that couple of years. I went to the emergency room and I went to different doctors trying to figure out like what was going wrong because really it was affecting my overall health and wellness so severely that I felt like at times when it was getting bad, I felt like I was dying and I couldn't figure out what was wrong.
Scary.
And neither could the medical staff that I was working with. Eventually, I had moved to a new town. Um, my husband was going to school at IU, and we kind of got settled in a new place, and I found a new PCP there. And she seemed like the first person who was willing to listen to me and willing to acknowledge that I took care of myself well enough that I shouldn't have been as sick as I was. And so she kind of helped me go through a huge amount of tests just trying to figure out what exactly was going on. But after I got treated for C. diff with some like really strong antibiotics, my gut kind of has never really been the same since then. Um, I did end up having a fungal infection after the fact because of the sort of vacuum left behind by the really strong antibiotics that they had me take. Um, and I ended up having a whole host of allergies, particularly for foods that I ingested, but also some environmental allergies too that resulted from that sort of breakdown in my immune system that happened after I got C. diff and after I got treated for it.
So I know that now in your life, you've gone through this whole process and you're still kind of dealing with it. And I see you being very mindful about how you treat yourself and just different tools that you can apply, both medical, as things are appropriate, and then watching
Mm-hmm.
what you eat and also using essential oils and kind of all in combination. Um, do you feel more empowered um, to be able to manage your health when you have that tool set available to you?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said before, when I realized that I could depend on essential oils, particularly for like specific, issues that I kept having arise over and over and over again. as a result of sort of having a weakened immune system or having poor digestion or other things like that after having had a severe infection, um, that yeah, the access to something reliable that didn't also, cause side effects that were undesirable. That was a big draw for me. Especially, I don't, there are a lot of people I think in my life that I've come across that have dealt with severe illness, and um, and one place where they like often are failed is this like sense that they really don't have a whole lot of control over how well they feel from day to day. Um, and a lot of medical approaches um, don't really provide them the control over their sort of everyday feelings of wellness. Um, and to give to give me, at least it felt like when I got my hands on essential oils, it gave me a sense of some control, even if it was just like to take the edge off of, pain that I'd been dealing with for years, or, the edge off of pain that I've been dealing with for the past week or something like that.
Or even
Um,
emotional, I think.
yeah,
Feeling stressed out having to deal with that stuff.
yeah, it just like I felt like I could make it a little bit better in any given moment with the tools that I had at hand, which um, I think unless you've been through an experience like that, it can be hard to understand what a huge impact having that little bit of control and having that little bit of dependability can really have on your overall well-being and on your outlook for the future.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Well, we've come to the end of our time. I wish we could talk a little bit longer. I'm just so interested in everything you've been saying, but I appreciate you spending some time with me tonight. And if anybody out there has more questions for Charity, I'm sure she would be happy to answer them. And we'll leave this live video up for people to watch into the future. So, mwah, thanks, Charity.
Thanks.
Bye bye.